Welcome back to Girls Next Level, everybody. I don't know why, but I feel like I'm forgetting something. Like, have I turned everything on? Is it all recording?
Oh God, I hope so. But that's funny you say that because I kept thinking that as I was leaving the house this morning. I think it's just because we haven't recorded in a little bit.
I think so too. Like you guys, it's been, I know you haven't noticed because we upload every week, but we have to batch record lately. So it's been a month. Like we have some shit to catch up on.
Yeah. And I was leaving the house and I'm like, God, why do I feel like I don't even know what I need to bring anymore?
Mm-hmm.
Usually I feel so organized and like I have everything plus some. And this time I'm like, wait, okay, I have the book. I have my notes. I printed my ads. I have my backpack that I always bring. I've got my laptop, but there feels like there should be something else.
No, I feel like that way too. I'm like, okay, the lights are on. I can see the mics are plugged in, but I'm like, are we going?
Yeah.
So I guess we're going. If this makes it to your ears, we're going. So what have you been up to the past month? I know this is going to sound like ancient history, even talking about it. We haven't even talked about like Easter, April Fool's Day.
Oh.
Did you do anything for Easter or no?
No, not really. And it makes me sad because I really liked Easter at the mansion. And I love all of that. But my family back home was doing stuff. So I dressed all up and I FaceTimed in. And so I was technically at the party.
That's cool. You need to think of a new Easter tradition.
You know why? Because it was my grandma's birthday too. And I told everybody I was going home.
Wait, you didn't go home?
No.
I thought you were like gone one of these weeks.
Oh, I was gone again.
Okay.
But I was supposed to go home twice. I was supposed to go home for my grandma's birthday, which was March 31st. And then I was supposed to come home. And then I was going to go again because my mom turned 70 on April 15th. Oh, she's probably going to kill me for saying my mom turned a number.
You said it on the pod before, I think.
Okay.
Sorry, Mom, you're
Sorry,
outed.
Mom. Yeah, so I wanted to be there for that. She's the sole caregiver of my grandma, so it's not like she can go do anything. We wanted to plan something fun, but it's not like she could go do anything, but I at least wanted to be home for it because it's a big deal, you know? So I was going twice, but when on Easter weekend, we had a storm come in here. I don't know if you remember that specifically, but
I wasn't here.
The grapevine snowed.
Oh.
And I didn't want to chance it because that's a nightmare to get, like people get stuck on the grapevine for hours.
No.
Sometimes overnight, you have to sit on the side of the road.
And the grapevine's just like a plain freeway. Like there's nothing cool along the way, right?
Oh yeah, you're not stopping anywhere. Like there's nowhere.
It's not like if you're driving up the coast and there's all this cute shit along the way. Like, oh, I'll just waylay in Santa Barbara.
No, you're just on a mountain.
Yeah.
There's periodic, like, you know.
A cow.
There's a periodic gas station or a McDonald's or something, but even those are far and few between. So it's like, there's not a lot.
Speaking of McDonald's, do you know what my pet peeve is? I thought of this because Tana was talking about it on Trisha's podcast. I'm like, I can relate. And then it happened to me right after. Do you ever use a public restroom and you have to go and you can't help it? Like sometimes you can't help it. It's noisy. Like sometimes there's nothing you can do. This has happened to me a couple times. It happened to me when I was pregnant and I was at this place called Batista's Hole in the Wall in Vegas. If you're a local, you know, if you know, you know. And I was in the bathroom and you're like, oh shit, you know, whatever, that just came out. But then there's girls standing out by the fucking sink chatting. And then I'm waiting for them to leave because I don't want to walk out and own up to that. And they're not fucking leaving.
Oh, wait. So you're talking about like farts or pooping or something.
Yeah.
I thought you were just talking about a loud pee. Because I
don't give a shit about a loud pee. You can hear me pee like a horse. And I don't care. But like when you're just trying to like take a shit and like, I'm usually not noisy about it, but every once in a while, a sneak attack comes along and you don't know. And then bitches are out there talking at the sink, which first of all, girls loitering in the restroom is kind of my pet peeve anyway. Like do your business, wash your hands. If you need to use the mirror, like do it quickly and leave. So sometimes you have an accident, a loud, noisy accident in the stall and you want to leave, but there's women talking by the sink and I'm just sitting in there waiting for them to leave and they never fucking leave. So that was memorable. And I eventually went back to my table traumatized, but then it happened to me again at Disneyland. I was like, oh, this is awful. And there were people just standing out. And this was like a more like private bathroom. It's not one of the usual like big Disneyland bathrooms. And there were people just out there talking by the sink. But I'm thinking if I was the sink person and I heard somebody let it rip in the bathroom, I would get the fuck out of there so fast. Because one, I don't want to potentially smell it.
Right.
And two, I don't want to embarrass that person when they come out. They don't want to make eye contact with me after I just heard them explode like Mount Vesuvius. So people out there, if you're ever in that position where you're the sink talker, the sink gossiper, and somebody lets it go in the bathroom, just leave. You don't need to be in there.
Yeah. I'm pretty grossed out about public bathrooms. Like I like to get in and get out as fast as possible. So I'm not a loiterer, and I almost never want to even look in the mirror because I feel like it's such a horrifying sight to look in the mirror of like a public restroom. The lighting is so bad.
I was like, damn, Bridget, your self-esteem didn't go off the cliff. What's wrong with you? I need to be concerned? I
just feel like the lighting is so bad, and I always think, holy shit, do I really look like this? Like, I just feel like you look, like, it makes you look
You're right. Like public restroom
and dumpy. And like, I just feel like so I try to avoid any eye contact with the mirror whatsoever, wash my hands and get the hell out as fast as possible. So I'm not a bathroom loiterer in any way. I'm trying to think if it's not that I've never had to go to the bathroom in a public restroom, but I don't think I remember ever having to do it with anybody else around, like hearing something.
Really? Okay.
You're
lucky.
Not that I recall.
You know what? What if it happens just because we're talking about it?
I know. Now I'm doomed, right? You know what? So Nick tells me about the men's room, and he said that there is not a men's room out there that guys aren't farting their asses off in there and shitting and dumping all the time.
My God.
And nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit, literally. And, but like, here we are, like, so worried that somebody might have heard something or not heard something in my case and might think something. And Nick tells me there is not a single men's room where people aren't farting and doing all kinds of nasty shit in there.
Damn, I wish we were that liberated. But also, not that I think I'm like so famous or anything, but there's also like the fear that like you'll be recognized.
Right.
And then people are going to be talking about, oh, you know that girl from that one podcast? Well, she walked out of the bath. I was in, a restroom minding my own business, spending an hour talking by the sink. And I heard somebody just fucking explode like I've never heard before. And then it walked out and it was that girl from that podcast. Oh my God.
Yes.
So next time you look at her, that's the only thing you're going to think about.
It'll be the next blind item. This podcast girl used to be reality TV star, was in the bathroom at Disneyland. And
it's so bad. But the reason we're talking about this is there's a takeaway here. If you're the sink loiterer, leave. Like if you've never thought about that before, leave, because somebody might be in pain in the stall and need to make a blind exit.
Well, I think there's another takeaway here too, that we shouldn't be so worried about it. It's a human bodily function. I know it's embarrassing, but like guys aren't worried about it. Like, that's so true. How do we get that? How do we get a little bit more of that?
I guess if I were really bold, I could have just walked out and been like laughing about it, like gross out humor, but I just wasn't in the mood.
Or just act like somebody else must be in one of the other stalls.
Yeah, like, damn, what'd they have for lunch? I don't know. So anyway.
Well, I mean, unless you're the only other person in there and it's clear that you are, there's no way to tell who that was, really.
I feel like I was both of those times, and that's why it's so memorable. Yeah.
Damn. So remember how we were talking about Rosemary's Baby and whether they show the baby at the end or not? So the consensus is they did not, and that it's a Mandela effect. Like a lot of people think they saw it. But then 2 things happened since then. Somebody sent me a photo from the movie where there is a face that flashes on the screen, and it's superimposed over like Mia Farrow's reaction to the baby. And they sent me that picture. So I have that picture and I'm like, that might be what I'm thinking of, because it literally is a flash. But they were able to somehow screen grab that flash and send it to me. So I think that is probably what I'm thinking of. But secondly, I asked Nick's mom, who I don't know if you guys know, but I mentioned in one of the things that we recorded before that she's best friends with Mia Farrow, what she remembers from the scene. And if they showed the if there was a baby at all.
Baby.
And she said there was nothing in the bassinet, but there was a prop person underneath the bassinet with his hand in the bassinet moving the covers the blanket in there. So it looked like when she's looking, you can see the blanket, I guess, moving a little bit.
Oh, creepy.
To make it look like a baby's kind of like kicking its feet a little bit or whatever, moving its hand or whatever. And it's the prop person underneath there, but there was nothing in the bassinet.
I like that insider info.
I know.
That's so good. Speaking of horror icons, we have our special guest today is Cassandra Peterson, and you know her, I mean, from a lot of things, but also relevant to this, what we're talking about. We just talked about our Girls Will Be Goals episode. She was in that, and we recorded this interview, and I felt like, did we set her up enough? Because I feel like people know who Elvira is, but I feel like we were just so excited to talk to her, and we'd read her book, and we just kind of dove right in. So I feel like we just need to give them like a succinct like recap on Cassandra's life a little bit.
Okay.
She was doing all kinds of things in LA, up and coming actress. She was a groundling. Before that, she was the youngest showgirl ever in Vegas, which I'm fascinated with. She knew Elvis. He convinced her to like go to LA and follow her dreams. So she was doing that. And then she got a call to do, which I know Elvira as such a huge horror icon. I was even surprised to learn when I read the book that the Elvira thing she was doing where the character originated, it was just on local TV at first in LA. Mm-hmm. And what would she do? Would she like introduce horror movies?
Yeah. And then they would come back in between and they would do skits and things like that and talk about the movie.
And then it's been a minute since I read her book, but did they take that and syndicate it across the country? Is that how she became more well-known?
I think it was syndicated, but I don't know that for a fact.
Yeah. And then she just became such a famous character and was used in all kinds of like beer ads and special appearances that just everybody knew Elvira.
Yeah. She became synonymous with like Halloween and horror and B-rated movies. And she started doing her own movies too, which is really cool.
And for the last like couple decades or so, she was doing a live show at Not Scary Farm every year.
Yeah, she was the main attraction at Not Scary Farm, which is so cool.
Yeah. So that's a little bit of backstory on who she is before we get into the interview.
And she's been a big role model for me because I love that she can be sexy and confident and smart and funny and love horror and, and be campy about it and be respected and make something out of that. Yeah. Like, I love that. Mm-hmm. And I also feel like there's so many, I shouldn't say so many similarities, but there's several similarities in our lives that I think are interesting. Yeah. And we're going to talk about all of those in this interview and also just ways that her path crossed with Playboy too, which is really interesting.
So let's get into our interview with Cassandra Peterson.
I am so excited. And I know Holly and I were just talking about this, but the weather is getting so nice outside and it's time to say goodbye to those jackets and sweaters and hello to shorts and tees. I wanted to update my wardrobe for the long haul without spending a fortune. Luckily, I found Quince. Now I've got a lineup of timeless pieces that keep me looking effortlessly chic year after year, like premium European linen dresses, blouses, and shorts from $30, washable silk tops, timeless 14-karat gold jewelry, and so much more. The best part? All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. By partnering directly with top factories, Quince cuts the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on to us. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes. And I love that. I got a couple pairs of the softest shorts and they have pockets, which is a plus, and I'm loving them. I practically am living in them.
I'm so excited. I just ordered the cutest outfit from Quince. It's a mid-calf length silk skirt and then a silk camisole top, and I cannot wait to get it.
Get warm weather ready with Quince. Go to quince.com/nextlevel for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/nextlevel to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/nextlevel.
Welcome back to Girls Next Level, everybody. Today, I am so excited about our guest. I don't even feel like I'm at work today. I'm just excited to listen to our amazing guest talk. So we just got done talking about our episode, Girls Will Be Ghouls, where we got a surprise visit from Elvira. And today we are hearing from the woman behind Elvira. She is an actress, comedian, producer, icon, manifesting queen, queen of Halloween. She's all these things, and we're so excited to talk to her. Welcome, Cassandra Peterson.
Hello.
Yay!
Great to see you guys again.
Thank you so much for doing this. You know how excited I am.
I know. I probably know. We're with you, Bridget.
I low-key stalker. Anytime I'm at an event, I love going to all the Halloween events and horror events and stuff. And every time I see that you're there, I'm like, oh, beeline over there. I got to say hi, get a hug in, let her know I'm here.
Yeah, no, I've seen you a lot of times over the years since we did that episode. I haven't seen you. This is the first time though, Holly.
Yeah, I'm kind of a hermit, but I'm so excited to see you again. We just read your book. Hold up the book so people can see it if they're watching the video. So she just wrote this amazing book just a year ago, right?
Yeah, about a year and a half now, maybe.
And it's so fascinating. And we have so many questions for you.
Yeah. New York Times bestseller.
Ooh, I love that. I'm in the company of queens.
Me too.
Yeah, so we absolutely love the book. I didn't want it to end. I felt like I was really your friend in a part of your life.
Oh, thanks. Well, you are my friend, but thank you. I appreciate you saying that. Maybe now I can write the next 75 years, 72 years.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I wanted to start out with something too. I just kind of made notes throughout while I was reading your book. And then we also get into obviously where our lives intersect and stuff. But one of the things that you wrote in your book that I thought was really interesting is the showbiz superstition here in LA, that you can't leave LA because the second you do, you're going to get that call of a lifetime.
It's true, isn't it? Is it true for you too?
I think so.
It is true. And it may not be the call of a lifetime, but it's all of a sudden, you leave and all of a sudden shit hits the fan and everything's so busy. And now you got to figure out how you're going to make those things happen.
Yeah, exactly. Then you cut your vacations short. I cut 1,000 vacations short. Every time I'd go home to see my family or whatever, I'd always get this call from my agent who never called otherwise ever. And then they'd call, oh, you're up for this pilot. You really have to get home and change all my plans, change everything. Bye, everyone. And come back. And I'd almost never get the part.
Right?
Never, actually, not almost never. Never. So yeah, when they called about Elvira, I was like, well, I'm on my honeymoon. I am not schlepping back from Colorado for some, local television show host thing. God, it sounds so lame.
Yeah.
So I didn't come back. And thank God when I did, it was still available.
Yeah.
2 weeks later.
Yeah. And what's interesting about that too is the way you describe your audition. And I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit here, but when I came to audition for your show, I feel like there was a lot of similarities to the way you described it, because when you described yours, you said that everybody was dressed full goth and for the part, and you just kind of showed up as yourself.
Yeah.
And you were like, wait, oh, was I supposed to, miss the memo?
Nobody told me. It was like going to a costume party without a costume. I felt so stupid. I'm sitting in the dressing room. I've got this little turquoise dress on and white sandals. It's so stupid.
You're all California hot and they're goth.
Yeah. I know.
It's kind of what happened to me when I went to your audition. I walked in and everybody's full their version of Elvira. I was blonde and I might have dressed a little bit gothy because I'm very themed. I love all of that, but I wasn't trying to be you.
Yeah. Well, you were a shoo-in, girl. Come on. We knew you were gonna be one of the finalists. Don't worry.
We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I just thought, that's so crazy how similar it was.
Yeah. It kind of is. Yeah. Unfortunately, you didn't become Elvira.
No.
Mm.
But you know what? And I'm going to talk about it in a minute. I didn't want to necessarily. And I even said in my interview, whether they played it or not, but I said, nobody can replace Elvira.
Thank you.
And I wanted to be my own version of that type of thing, an extension of you type of thing, but not you.
Right. Yeah. It didn't, the whole thing didn't really pan out. It was my brilliant idea in the beginning to do this thing where, how they have Santa Claus in the malls at Christmas?
Yeah.
I was going to go, they should have Elvira's in the mall at Halloween time.
Yeah.
So I thought, yeah, why not? And people sit on their lap and tell them what they want. And, I already know what they want. But anyway, but I thought, well, I can't be in all these malls all over the United States. I'll just hire these other girls. And when I told somebody that idea, they said, you ought to find the other girls, but do it with a TV show, like a reality show.
Yeah.
And that's where that whole idea came from. But unfortunately, it didn't work out so good for the girl that won. She was very cute and talented, but people didn't want a fake Elvira. That was just
because there's only one of you.
I guess. I wish there were more because I'd get a lot more rest.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Another thing that you said in your book that I thought was really, really important too, and that I don't know if people realize this, but I think it's true for Holly, and it was definitely true for me. And then you wrote it in your book, and I'm like, this is a crazy thing that I bet a lot of people feel, is that you said that you set a date for yourself, and you're like, I have to get a real job if this doesn't work out. And you set like a date. Like I did that too. I brought my savings account here, and it gave me like 6 months in LA. And I either had to like get an agent and start working enough to like pay the rent.
Yep.
Or that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to set that date or you'll end up like, well, I won't name any names, but, you have to, you set goals for yourselves and you've got to kind of set deadlines.
And so one of the other things that was in here that I thought was, and you did my paranormal podcast a while back ago.
Yeah. Yep.
And we kind of talked about this on there, but I'm going to bring it up again because this could be a different audience. But you got the part of Ginger in Gilligan's Island and then lost it.
Yes.
But I just, there's two things I want to say about that. One, talk about manifestation because.
Yeah. My whole life is about manifesting things.
But
have you guys
grew the beauty mark?
That is the craziest thing I've ever heard. I love that
It's
story.
right there. Do you see it? It's a real mole. You can feel it. It's like a mole.
You guys.
I don't paint it on.
It's so crazy.
When I was a kid and I wanted to be Tina Louise, Ginger in Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
I just dreamt about her. I got to be this. Like, this is what I want to be. And one day I woke up and I had this mole popped up here in the same spot that she has one.
So crazy.
I told her that story one time and she just looked at me like I was totally insane. And she walked away. But I swear to God, I didn't have one. And then suddenly I did.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I've manifested a lot of things in my life. And do you ever feel that way?
Yes.
Yeah. I look back at things and go, these can't just be coincidences. Wanting to meet my idol, Elvis Presley, and then having him give me advice about my career and actually completely changing the trajectory of my life.
Yeah.
If I hadn't met him. And it was brief and it was wow, it got me out of Las Vegas where right now I always tell people I was the youngest showgirl in Las Vegas at 17. If not for Elvis, I would now be the oldest showgirl in Las Vegas. I would have never left, I'd still be there.
Yeah.
But that thing with Elvis and then going with my parents for Easter vacation to Vegas and somebody walks up to me and says, do you want to be in a show? And I go, it's just
that was
too many
crazy.
things.
Yeah, that was crazy. Like, I want to make sure that the listeners heard that. Like, you just go to Vegas with your parents.
Yeah. I begged them to take me to a Tits and Feather show. That's what we call it.
Tits and Feather?
Yeah.
And then they just pluck you out of the audience. Like, you need to be our next showgirl.
It was just bizarre. But then we met with the producer and everything, and they asked me if I'd be a showgirl and Viva La Girls, which coincidentally was so bizarre because I had been obsessed with Viva Las Vegas, that Elvis movie.
Uh-huh.
And I worshiped Anne Margaret, who I ran into her manager yesterday after 30 years.
Oh.
So bizarre. And at the hair salon. And so where the hell was I? Oh, yeah. So Viva Las Vegas. I was really obsessed with it when I was about 13, 14.
Mm-hmm. So
I end up being in Las Vegas, playing sort of the part of Anne Margaret, meeting Elvis, and being in a show called Viva La Girls. I don't know. That's just seems like too many coincidences to me,
Yeah.
It's like a blueprint. I love it.
Yeah.
And you know what one of my favorite anecdotes you have in the book is, because I live in Vegas, so this is very relatable. Yeah, in the summers, for those who don't know, it gets so hot.
Oh,
and you have this story about how you had to park your car on the street and you had a whole routine to get into your car without burning yourself. Like you'd come out with the pot holders and open the car and turn on the AC and put the towels down. Then you'd go wait for like 10 minutes. And it's just like, that is so real.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way you could get, and you know, a lot of times I'd put some of my makeup on before I went to work. I mean, it would have just melted off and been laying on my chest, you know, if I didn't put cold towels in there that I'd had in the freezer and everything else. So, I mean, you get that, right? Because I had no place to park but like directly on the street in the blazing sun.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah.
The weather is getting so nice and it feels so good to spend time out in the sun. But spending time out in the sun also makes you a little sweaty. But this just in, body odor is officially canceled for good this time. Unlike certain other DOs, Lumi Whole Body Deodorant is powered by mandelic acid to deliver outrageous 72-hour odor control everywhere, from your pits to your feet, and yes, even your privates.
I personally am obsessed with Lumi. They have so many fun scents. My favorite right now is the toasted coconut. It's also baking soda free, paraben free. It's got all the good stuff.
I know I've said it before, but I love how Lumi comes in different forms of application, because sometimes you need a wipe and sometimes you need a deodorant stick and sometimes you need more of a lotion. And it just depends on where you're putting it. And it's so helpful to have all these different modes of applications. Lumi's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like a mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for our listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lumi products with our exclusive code. And if you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that equals over 40% off their starter pack. Use code NEXTLEVEL for 15% off your first purchase at LumiDeodorant.com. That's code NEXTLEVEL at LumiDeodorant.com.
A manifestation, I mean, I think if you really, really think about something hard enough, you keep it in your mind, you visualize it, you see yourself doing it, you think about it before you go to bed, you think about it before you totally wake up in the morning, you know, it eventually happens. It just has for me. It's just weird.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Another thing that you said in the book that I thought, I was like, oh, I have to point this out, is that not in the entertainment industry, you can't let anything stop you. You can't let not being old enough, pretty enough, talented enough. You can't let people say those things to you and let that stop you.
And because you believe it. I mean, you hear it, you believe it, and then it does stop you. But I mean, if that's what you really want to do, you just forge ahead. I tell a story in there about Eve Smith, this little old lady who was in my movie, Mistress of the Dark. And I met her when she was about 80 something. She was my, what would I call him? My husband's grandfather's girlfriend.
Okay.
And it was so funny because he was like 98 and he was like, I like him young, you know. And she was like 81 or something. And anyway, so I got her part in my movie. She was adorable, but she wanted to be an actress her whole life, and she got her first gig when she was 80. And it was dressed up as a Playboy bunny.
Oh my God.
She did stand-up comedy dressed in a Playboy bunny outfit, which didn't look that great. You know, and I mean, she meant it to look not that great. She had little gray hair and glasses, you know, and everything. And I mean, I don't want anybody to have to wait till they're 80 to get famous, but she just had her mind set on it. It finally happened, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I want to add to that saying too, you can't let anybody tell you that you're too old too. Not young enough, but people love to say, well, you're too old now. Oh God.
Back, man, in the 70s when I was looking for work and stuff, 30, if you were a woman and you were 30, you were dead. You might as well just, you know, jump in the grave and pull the dirt over your head, whatever. But that was it. That was it. They did not hire people who were 30. So I have that little story in there about going to that agent who just said like, 30 years old, get out of here. We're not hiring, you know, nobody's going to hire a woman who's 30. Thankfully, that's gotten a little better, but not that much better. I mean, men can be 180, you know, that doesn't matter. Yeah. I mean, look at Al Pacino and Robert De Niro and all those guys. I love them, but they don't have to do a thing. They can work right up until the day they cack.
Yeah.
But women, there are women, older women now who get gigs, but I don't think I think it's not, yeah. Anyway, okay.
You went and worked at the Playboy Club in Miami. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I was a showgirl there. I was not a bunny.
Oh.
Or anything. I wanted to be a bunny, but they had a show at the Miami Beach Playboy Club, which is no longer there. They had one in the city of Miami, but then they had one on the beach next door to the Fontainebleau. And so I got a showgirl gig there. There was a big show called Fantasies of Love Au Naturel. Oh my God, that name. Anyway, and I was a singer and the lead nude for that show. And I was there about 6 months, but I had a fantastic time. It was the 70s. We were on the beach. I was making a bunch of money. It was great.
Yeah.
Great experience.
Yeah,
So
it sounds
fun.
like it. Maybe I'm wrong, but when I was reading your book, it sounded like you were really resistant to moving to LA for a long time. Is that true?
I was. I hated LA. I'd come here with my parents on several vacations. And back in the 50s and 60s, it was so smoggy here. And I remember my parents took me downtown because my mom had to buy fabric for her costume shop. And I was in the car with my sisters. And there were like bums walking around, and leering at us in the car. And it was all smoggy and dark. And the traffic, the freeways. It was just overwhelming for me. I was a small town girl, and so before I had gone to Vegas, it was just scary to me. And I said, that is the last place I will ever live. I do not want to live there. And then I read my Cosmopolitan magazine horoscope for Virgos, and it said, LA is your lucky city. You'll become a star there. And I go, oh, maybe I will move there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went straight from Miami Beach. I met a guy that was a singer and dancer in the show. And he lived in Hollywood. And so we moved here. We were right up the hill on Beechwood Drive.
Awesome.
Had a house for guess how much a month? $90 a month.
Get out of here.
$90 a house.
Get out of here.
House up in the hills on Beechwood Canyon.
That's $9,000 a month now.
Yeah.
I don't even care
I
if it's 100
positive.
square feet.
I am positive it was $9,000. You're right. I remember it went up to 120 and we were like, no, my God, we'll never be able to pay. Oh my God. Okay, I'm really giving away my age when I say shit like that.
When do you remember? Was it when you moved to LA that you first started to go up to the Playboy Mansion and how that happened?
Yeah, it was not long after I moved to LA. I started modeling and looking for modeling gigs. And obviously, I don't have the figure of like a runway model or anything like that. But Playboy had Hugh Hefner had a modeling agency. Were you guys around when that was still? No, I think it probably
No,
ended.
it was.
No, they just had us work with this guy named Gordon Rail, which is interesting.
Yeah.
An agent, like a modeling
He was
agent.
a modeling and commercial agent, and he somehow was allowed to use the Playboy logo and stuff on his card. But I don't know how the affiliation really
I don't think it was as put together as maybe it was before.
No.
Yeah. It was really like a big agency then, but all the gigs we went out on were like sexy girl gigs. We were wearing silver lame hot pants and stuff and going to conventions, to just stand around all day in heels at a booth.
Yeah.
Or taking pictures with car parts or refrigerator parts or whatever. It was that kind. But I worked pretty steadily. So it was really great. It was, and a lot of people, a lot of other actresses kind of came out there that I've seen over the years. Colleen Camp was one. She was a Playboy model, and a lot of girls that ended up posing in Playboy magazine. And I did some of that too for Playboy and We magazine, which I don't know if you guys remember, Playboy owned another magazine called We.
I did not. Did you?
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
We like OUI.
Yeah.
Yeah. And anyway, it was good. It was like I could kind of make a living just having those little gigs. So
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. And one of the things that they had you do was go on Sunday night. Was it Sunday night? I think Saturday night to the mansion, and you could have dinner there.
Oh.
And that was all you were asked. Go up there and have dinner.
Yeah.
And so me and my friends, oh my God, Joyce Mandel, she was another one. I don't know if
She
you've
was
ever
still coming
seen
up
her.
there when we were there.
I was like, wait, I know that name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that's right.
Yes,
I do know who that is.
Joyce was one of my good friends. Another girl named Lynn Guthrie, and Madeline Peisakoff. Do you know any of them? They were all in that, and they used to come up to the mansion all the time.
Oh, that's so
But
funny.
we were so broke that we'd put a plastic bag inside our purses, we'd line them, and then we'd go down the buffet and we'd scrape food into the plastic bag so that we could take it home and eat for the rest of the week.
I
It was
think that's
great. So it
happening
was
years
great for-
later. Because didn't somebody else say that they did that?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was a good place. I mean, the buffets were pretty awesome there.
Yeah,
It was like,
yeah.
oh my God, I'd never seen anything so fancy in my life. I was just thrilled beyond belief. But yeah, we always had a good time. I met a bunch of people up there. Will Chamberlain.
I read that story.
I met him there. I met a lot of actors and stuff, but I wasn't doing anything up there really. I did
Yeah.
start dating. Oh, you're not gonna believe it. I didn't mention this in my book, but I did start dating someone I met up there. You're not gonna believe it. Harry Reams. From him from Deep
I know
Throat.
yeah.
Oh my God. I actually really liked him. We dated for a while.
That's awesome.
But that was all. It was pretty tame for me. I'd go up there, kind of eat, get the hell out, fill my purse with food.
Did you go to any of the parties or anything, or just the buffet?
Not until a while later. Then we start getting invited to the Midsummer Eve party and all of those, which were really fun. The pajama parties.
Yeah.
They were really, really fun back then. I loved going. Yeah, that
Definitely.
was a great time. But yeah, I hear about all the creepy underbelly side. I honest to God, did not experience any of that.
Yeah.
I did not ever. I thought it got creepier as time went on. I think the last one I went to up there was maybe 20 years ago, maybe. And it was Midsummer's Night party, I think. And I think somebody was giving the girls all some kind of roofies or something.
Oh no.
Because I saw girls just coming down the steps and just doing face plants on the ground. I don't know what was going on, but me and my partner were sitting on the stairs just going, what the hell is happening?
Yikes.
There was those little Jello shots that they were walking around, passing around.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there was just so much booze in them that they passed out, but it was pretty odd.
That's crazy, because I feel like I never saw anything like that going on. Like girls being that wasted.
Yeah, I think we just had to go upstairs early. People behaved a lot more around Hef's table, so we didn't see a lot of candid stuff sometimes.
Yeah, you were kind of out there. Yeah. No, I was shocked by it. I'd never seen anything like that up there. And I'd been to 1,000 of those parties,
Yeah.
But all it takes is one bad apple if somebody's putting something in people's drinks or...
No, it was crazy. Me and my partner too were sitting on the steps just watching girls fall down the steps.
Whoa.
And oh my God, are you okay? It was crazy.
Oh my God.
The stairs that go by the grotto.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's 3 or 4 steps.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what was going on that night, but something definitely was.
Mm.
Did you know that nearly 75% of people have subscriptions they've forgotten about? Before I started using Rocket Money, I thought I had about 3 subscriptions. I could not believe it when they showed me I was paying for 10 subscriptions each month. Between streaming services and fitness apps and delivery services, it's just never ending. Thanks to Rocket Money, I'm no longer wasting money on the ones I forgot about. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so that you can grow your savings. With Rocket Money, I have full control over my subscriptions and a clear view of my expenses. I can see all of my subscriptions in one place, and if I see something I don't want, Rocket Money can help me cancel it with a few taps. I love how the dashboard shows me this month's spending compared to last month's, so I can clearly see my spending habits. Plus, they'll help me create a custom budget and keep my spending on track. Rocket Money will even try to negotiate lowering your bills for you by about 20%. All you have to do is submit a picture of your bill, and Rocket Money takes care of the rest. They'll deal with the customer service for you. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's features.
Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/nextlevel. That's rocketmoney.com/nextlevel. rocketmoney.com/nextlevel.
One of the things I was blown away, and you alluded to it a few minutes ago, but all the people that you've met in your lifetime, but I feel like it's on another level.
It was weird. People go, how could you possibly have met them? I don't know. You like these people and you just put yourself where you could meet them and find them. I don't know. And if you're kind of good looking. It's not that impossible, you know.
Well, I feel like it's no matter where you go in the world. Like you're in like Italy and you're like running into Fellini.
I know. You just, again, maybe it's manifestation. Yeah. Maybe you're thinking about them and I don't know, but.
You even met Brad Pitt.
I did. He came and bought my house.
Yeah, I know.
He almost delivered my baby.
Oh, wow.
No, because he rang the doorbell. I was 9 months pregnant and he rang. My doorbell rings and it's a little speaker thing and there's a gate kind of far away. And I buzz it and I go, who's it? And he goes, Brad Pitt. And I'm like, yeah, right. Brad Pitt. And I thought it was my writing partner, John. And I go, oh, come on, John. What are you doing here? He goes, no, it's Brad Pitt. And I'm like, oh, no. I kept saying that. And finally I waddled my way down to the gate and there was Brad Pitt standing there. And I was in shock. You know, I was like, really almost had a baby right at that moment. So I always tell Brad, I said, you could have delivered my baby.
It was so close.
It's so close.
Well, I can't even get into all the people that you met, but I have like a little list here. It's like Elvis, Fellini, Zsa Zsa Gabor, Robert De Niro, Elton John, Michael Jackson, Brad Pitt, Hilary Swank. And that's just like a tip of the iceberg on the people. But you guys have to read the book actually to like get all of the dirt on all of that. But one of the things that I feel like I do have to touch on because it was making me so angry while reading your book is some of the sexual harassment stories.
Yeah, there were plenty of them, a lot more than I could put in the book. I'm sure you girls know about that story when you were growing up, right? I mean,
well, one of the things
to women all the time, and and especially I think really attractive women.
Yeah,
but you don't even have to be attractive. It doesn't matter. It happens to women all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And if you keep trying, you're trying to get ahead. You're trying to meet this person and that person. Your intentions are good, but theirs are not, and you get put in so many horrible, compromising positions that you don't want to be in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're trying to get ahead in your career and everything, you have to go. You have to put yourself out there.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can sit at home and that's not going to work.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting how you wrote that, like some of these things that you kind of kept a secret and then you started seeing other people come out and then you started like opening up and realizing. And I feel like I do that too. Like I kind of compartmentalize it and I don't even think about that kind of stuff anymore.
Really
and then like even just living at the mansion and some of the things Hef did and stuff, like Holly will say something, I'll be like, oh, that's right.
You kind of put it back in your consciousness. Yeah, you have to.
Just remember the positive things and the good that came out of it and stuff. But I like put little things behind me and like in a different, like locked away. And then something will trigger that. And you're like, oh my God, no, that happened to me too, or something similar happened to me too. And then people kind of look at you like, well, how did you, you never said anything about that before? Or how, I
never even told my husband of 25 years. I think it was just something I just wanted to pretend like it didn't happen. Mm-hmm. And then with the Me Too movement, I started thinking more and more about it and getting angrier and angrier about it. I mean, things came out in my brain, and I started thinking, I just have to say it. But, I shouldn't be ashamed of that. I didn't do anything wrong, So I just decided to talk about it because I think so many women experience situations like that. And no, you can't go to the police or anything, especially not back then. Now I think you could. But back then in the 70s, like the incident that happened with Wilt Chamberlain, do you think if an out-of-work actress went to the police and ratted on Wilt Chamberlain, what do you think would happen?
Yeah.
I'd probably never work again in Hollywood.
Well, what were you wearing?
What was there? Yeah, exactly. Kidding. Did you have something sexy on? Yeah. No, I was wearing a nun habit at the time.
It wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't
have mattered. But it was interesting too, because you were talking about some of the things that women have to learn to do just in life, like not walk alone at night, don't park in dark spots, always checking your surroundings, looking in the backseat of your car before you get in, make sure no one's following you. I wore those pants over my outfit today just to walk from my car to in here.
You can't walk down Hollywood Boulevard like that, girl.
No, I know. That's the first thing I told myself, and I was like, this is what I want to wear, but there's no way I can walk from my car to the door.
And not even in broad daylight in the morning.
Right.
No. Women are always having to manage their lives, having to, what should I wear? Where should I go? Should I get in the car? I mean, I spent my whole life like looking in the back seat of my car before I got in. And even when I was a kid, I mean, like 16, 17 years old. And guys don't know what it feels like to sort of be hunted. You feel like you're being hunted. You always have to look behind you. You always have to look in the rearview mirror. You always have to check your surroundings. It's disgusting that it's like that in this world. It's just unbelievable. And, if you have a daughter or, you're scared to death all the time. Something's going to happen.
Yeah.
My young niece lives right over here, just right down the street on Normandy. And I'm like, oh my God, that's just a horrible place to live. She's really pretty and living in this neighborhood, at night, coming home, trying to find a parking place. I'm like scared to death.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. Guys don't get a taste of that. They never do. And then once in a while you're here, oh, this guy or that celebrity's getting stalked by a woman. I'm like, whoop-de-freaking do. Number one, you're a guy. She's a girl. Okay. A woman could still kill you. Yes, it's possible. But you kind of outweigh them and, we're strength. And how many times have you guys been stalked? I don't know about you, but me, I have one stalker right now that's still, and it's like, damn, I'm old. Stop already. I don't know. It never ends. I've had 5 or 6 very serious cases of it. And so to add to just being a normal girl and walking around, then you've got a person out literally gunning for you,
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. But, I just think until these people are punished for what they're doing, it's never going to stop.
Right. And obviously all of the cases in Hollywood and with celebrities and music people and all that kind of stuff, those make the big headlines.
Yeah.
But people everywhere, or women everywhere, are faced with these things happening.
Exactly.
In work, walking home, at the mall, whatever, anywhere. So it's not just here. I just feel like here gets all the attention and the headlines.
It does. Yeah, no, it happens everywhere. I was in Italy and I was attacked by a guy.
Yeah. That was a scary story.
You know what makes my life easier lately is Nurex. I spend a lot of time traveling. I split my time between 2 cities. So sometimes making sure I have my prescription in each place isn't necessarily the easiest. I also get prescription skincare. So that's a whole other thing I can think about. And going through Nurex makes it all so much easier.
Nurex is a digital healthcare platform that makes it easy to get the expert healthcare you deserve at every step of your journey. We know that everybody is different, so Nurex provides treatment and care that's personalized to you. Through life's changes and transitions, Nurex is here to help you make informed choices about your health, with care offerings like birth control, anti-aging prescription skincare, and treatment for common mental health concerns, all tailored to your unique health history and goals. Nurex's licensed medical providers possess in-depth knowledge and expertise in a range of common health concerns, helping patients find the right treatment options based on their preferences and health history. From birth control to wrinkles and dark spot treatment, Nurex understands women's healthcare journeys are unique and ever-changing. That's why Nurex's care model provides comprehensive treatment options specific for women. Thanks to Nurex for sponsoring this podcast. Taking control of your reproductive health starts here. Go to nurex.com/nextlevel to get started. That's NURX.com/NEXTLEVEL. Results may vary and not offered in every state. Medications prescribed only if clinically appropriate. Consultation required.
Oh, that one. That's another one.
Yes.
Yeah, no, Franco, yeah. I didn't even write about this other one. I was just walking down the street and a guy kept grabbing my butt and I kept like saying, stop. And I kept walking. And then I was eating an ice cream cone and I turned around and stuck it in his face. But then he punched me really hard in the face, knocked me down on the ground. And amazingly, a bunch of guys got up from this cafe and just like beat the living crap out of this guy.
Oh, wow.
But I was still, my face was swollen, black and blue. And I mean, I had like told the guy stop about 80 times, you know? But then when I did something, it didn't work out so great.
It's interesting that you say that because I was talking to somebody from an older generation and she was like, this Me Too movement, I don't know. And back in my day, if a guy grabbed your ass, that was like a compliment and you could take that as a compliment. I was like,
wow.
Things have changed. I don't think so.
Yikes. She never got in a situation that apparently that was like dangerous, but
Yeah.
No, in Italy, when I was there in the 70s, they'd come up and pinch your ass. And I sort of like just, went away. I didn't pay that much attention to it. It was kind of there. I think it was kind of a compliment, and not going any further than that and stuff. And still, I wouldn't want anybody to do that today to me, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Then it was kind of like, oh, that's just normal Italian guys, Yeah, well, what, I just grabbed their balls and twisted them with it. That's just normal girl behavior.
Normal girl stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us about your haunted house.
Oh, God, yeah, the one I sold to Brad Pitt.
Yes.
Who, by the way, this is so funny. I sold it to him for $1,700,000 back in
Now
1994.
what?
He just sold it for, I can't remember exact. Somebody will correct me if I say the wrong number, but I think it was $32 million or $34 million.
What?
Now I'm going, I should have hung on to that house. Damn
But
it.
it had a lot of property and it was a pretty big house, right?
Yeah, it was a huge house. It was on 2 acres of property. It was right up here in the hills, again, right behind the studio up here.
Yeah.
It was a huge property with an old 1901, a really spooky, like 29 room, old craftsman house. There had been, I think, I can't remember exactly now. I think 5 people had died there over the years, killed, suicide, fell in the pool. And
A Ziegfeld Folly girl, right?
Yeah. They took all, and I have the newspaper article from like 1920 something. Yeah, they were having a big party up there and opening for the first pool in Hollywood. And they covered the surface with flowers. And then the next morning when they took all the flowers up, they found her underneath there just floating.
Oh,
She'd fallen in and hit her head maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the place had all these creepy vibes, which me as Elvira, I appreciate that. But
Yeah.
sometimes they weren't so fun. They were really, it was just noises, things not where they're supposed to be, doors opening and closing, people walking on the 3rd floor when there was nobody up there. It just started making me really, really paranoid and nervous,
Yeah.
I had 2 big Rottweiler dogs and really made me feel a little safer when I was alone there. But sometimes they'd stand in the middle of the living room at night and just growl at something that was in the dark. I'd say it now. I just give myself chills.
Yeah.
It became really creepy. Then I had an exorcist come. And then I had a Native American.
Do you remember who did it?
No, it was a guy. It was a Catholic priest.
Oh, okay.
And he did exorcism.
Mm-hmm.
And we had him come and run around with it. He had one of those little things on the chain that has smoke coming out of it. I don't know. And then we had a Native American shaman come and sage the whole house. And after both those 2 things, nothing ever happened in the house again.
Oh, wow.
I really feel like they released some energy or released these people, I don't know, their spirits hanging around in there. It's finally like, okay, go. You're free.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Mark Hamill, from Star Wars, he came over one time for dinner and he comes to the house and he goes, oh my God, this was where I lived when he went to college over here, I think USC or somewhere near. And he goes, oh, I hate to tell you this, but we were having dinner one night here and my roommate didn't come downstairs and somebody said, go upstairs and look for him, see where he is. And he hung himself in the closet. And I go, oh no. Do you remember where? And he goes, yes, your closet, my bedroom. Oh my God. I was like, no, not another one. I asked my neighbors about it and they'd lived there next door they lived in the ballroom of the house that had been sold off separately. And they were in their 90s. And I asked them and they said, yes, we didn't ever want to tell you. But when it happened, we saw all the police and the ambulances come and we ran over and anyway, so creepy things that happened there. But it got all good. After that, I never locked the door there. I felt so good there, so safe. I was in the middle of Hollywood and never locked the door at night, ever.
That's amazing.
I know. I mean, yeah, Hollywood, it's really amazing, right?
Yeah, for sure. Another creepy story, and I know this wasn't to do with your house, or I don't think it was, but you told me a creepy story about your Ouija board.
Yeah. I was telling this the other day because we were shooting. I have a new book. I'm shooting the photos for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's going to be not this year, but the following year.
Okay.
And we had a Ouija board, and I was telling them about this. But when I was a little kid, I loved to play the Ouija board. And you'd do it at slumber parties and stuff. And then I didn't have anybody to play it with me when I didn't have kids over. So I'd con my sister into doing it with me. And it creeped her out so much that she wouldn't do it with me anymore.
Yeah.
So I decided, I'll just do it on my own. So I'm sitting there forever with it, and it starts moving around, and it starts telling me this whole story. And I write down all the letters. It's telling me this story about a witch that died in Salem, Massachusetts. And it's just going on about this whole long story. I'm just like writing it down, and I'm going, okay, I'm not pushing this thing. Nobody else is there, so who's doing it?
Yeah.
And I got really kind of creeped out by it. So I grabbed the board. I think I was probably in maybe 6th grade. And I throw the board and the little pointer in my closet, and I slam the door and I lock it, and I get in bed. And I wake up in the middle of the night, and I hear the little pointer scritching around the board. I could just hear it like that little.
That's the story.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh no. I was losing it. My mom took it the next day and threw it in our incinerator out in the backyard and burned it up.
My mom threw mine away too.
Yeah. You're not using that again.
Yeah.
You have me telling all the creepy stories.
I know, because we both love them so much.
You do too, Holly?
I do.
Oh, good. I knew Bridget was into it. But
You were scary.
So let's have asked you to be in Playboy at some point. Tell us about that. How did that go?
Well, I gave it some serious thought because they offered me a lot of money.
Can you say how much?
I will say how much. It was the same as Farrah Fawcett got, which I believe was $1 million.
Whoa. Wow. That would be hard to turn down.
That was damn hard to turn down. It was because I wasn't making tons of money. I was on local TV. People always think I was making zillions of dollars. I was not.
Yeah.
I was making $350 a week, for several years. So it was really hard to turn down, but it was right after I'd had a baby. So I went and I started working out like crazy so I could be in shape for it if we decided to do it. But then I went to a convention and I did a panel, and there was just a big audience, a few hundred people, and mostly guys. And I asked them what they thought, if I should do it as Elvira or not. And believe it or not, they all said no. They said, absolutely not, because your dress still leaves something to the imagination. And if you expose everything, I think your kind of magic is gone, And I really took that to heart. And I did turn it down. I mean, I wasn't embarrassed about being naked. I was like, I've already been a showgirl and everything else.
Yeah.
It was just, I might just blow it for the character. And also, the character did have a following of a lot of kids.
Yeah.
Younger kids and stuff. So, I've been on Super Mario Brothers and on the Disney special and all that. And I didn't want to blow that whole audience out of the, whatever.
Speaking of, I'm rabidly jealous of the fact that you got to host some kind of TV special inside the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah,
right?
Can you believe that?
Oh, that's so cool.
I know.
What was that like?
Well, it was really funny because they kept running over every couple seconds and putting all my hair over my cleavage. They'd go, wait. And so they'd stop me like every 2 seconds and run over and make sure that no cleavage was showing.
I'm surprised they weren't like, do you have another version of this dress?
Oh, they were. But we said no. I've always made it a really, really pretty hard and fast rule. I won't cover that up. I mean, that's the character. That's the way it looks.
Yeah.
If it entails covering it all up, I can't do it. Hair, okay. I can put hair over it. That's what I did. Like in my Coors standee. Oh my God, I look like I'm wearing a turtleneck. I have my hair like all closed around. Just my little face is poking out. Which is a beer company.
Right.
Hello. It's not like they're selling baby diapers, or something. Anyway, yeah, so it was fun. I mean, I got to go in the actual ballroom set, there
So
with
cool.
the Haunted Mansion.
That is a dream.
So it was like a dream. It was like, I cannot believe I'm doing this. It's really fun.
So cool. You got to see how the magic happens down there.
Yeah. No, you really did. Yeah. That was one of my favorite things I ever did.
So you're coming to the mansion because you did something was it Hef's Halloween Spooktacular or Playboy's Halloween Spooktacular?
Yeah, I can't even remember. I think it was Playboy's Halloween Spooktacular or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what did you guys do exactly? Because I feel like I saw that a long time ago, but
I can't even remember.
That's how I
have a
feel
DVD of it, but
too.
I know you do too many things and you go, I don't remember, but Hef was always very, very kind to me. I didn't have anything going on with him. He was always very nice. He always called me the one who got away because I didn't do the centerfold thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't remember that show. I mean, I remember doing it, but
I feel like, wasn't it?
It was a DVD, which incidentally I have out in my house right now. Like I walked by it on the table. I was like, I should have brought it with me. Yeah.
I have
all our
one
old
somewhere too. Yeah.
For the podcast, we need to like dig into that DVD.
Yeah, because I think I have it too. And it occurred to me a while back ago when we were first scheduling with you, I should watch that before I do this. And then I kind of just forgot about it. But if I remember right, I think it was kind of like Playboy's Halloween Spectacular. And I think it was about doing the haunted house out there and the Halloween parties and how that all happens. And you're kind of hosting it.
Yeah, I'm just kind of hosting it. The one thing I remember is sitting in this big red chair that they had for me kind of in the, like in that little patio right outside the house. And Hef and I took a bunch of pictures together on that. And yeah, I basically was just doing, I think they set up a little set for me and I was just hosting. So I didn't get in on the action really, I didn't have anything fun to do. I was kind of just talking about it in between.
Yeah.
And that was Kevin Burns too, probably, wasn't it?
I think
for
so.
Sure.
Yeah.
I was good friends with Kevin. I mean, I was friends with him for so long.
How did you meet Kevin?
I think from doing that, the special, and then you guys show Girls Next Door.
See, I just figured he had to be friends with you already because how is he getting you to the mansion?
He just called me in to do it, and we became friendly. Yeah.
When you come to the mansion, the first person that's sitting there is Kendra. She's in the dining room and you go and sit with her and she has no clue who you are.
She does not know who I am. That was like, okay. Did she really not know? I mean, was that for real?
I think that's 100% for real.
That's possible. I don't know what's going on.
I know. I was like,
but I think what could have been staged is her being down there when you arrive. I'm not sure.
Oh, like they put her just because they asked her maybe, do you know who Elvira is?
Because they know she's not going to have a clue and they think that's going to be so funny to see that interaction. And it's going to be a contrast too, because I'm like, so freaking excited to meet you and can't believe you're coming to the mansion and I'm literally hiding behind the stair, like peeking and spying on you.
Yeah, it was so funny when she was there and I walk in and it's the first thing and I sit there and I go, oh, hi. And she's like, who are you? Elvira. I thought they would have clued her in maybe if I was doing the show, No. Who's Elvira? What's that? Oh my God, I remember it drove me a little crazy. I sort of start the show kind of pissed off.
That's funny that you say that because I was like, oh no, she's just playing it or whatever. But Holly's like, I don't know. I think she's sort of annoyed by that.
I was like, it was kind of a setup. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, I think it was definitely a setup.
And then later, anyway, you guys knew who I was, so it was better. But that was a crazy way to start off the show.
But I was just curious how much you knew about how they set that up or not. But I think that Kevin kept you in the dark.
Nobody told me anything. They did. They kept me totally in the dark. I didn't know what I was doing or...
Well, because they knew you were a professional and that you'd just roll with it no matter what. So I don't know. I don't think, was this the last time I saw you? I'm not sure. But you had a party on top of at the rooftop of Hollywood Roosevelt. And it was for your new coffee table book at that time.
My coffin table book.
Oh, coffin table, yes. And
that was such a great venue, wasn't it?
That was amazing. And that was such a fun party.
It was so fun. Everybody was there. It was really, really great.
Including Paul Rubens. And
oh my God. Tons of celebrities. I can't remember who all was there. You were there.
Bridget Marcourt was there.
Yeah. Wow. There were a zillion celebrities, though. I can't freaking remember who. Well, that's my brains.
What I wanted to bring up about this, because I'm still blown away by it today, is you had like a little, VIP area and we were talking at the bar and you had your heels on, but you had taken them off and left
my
them
feet were killing me.
Your area. Somebody stole At this VIP party.
Yes, at a party. I had to walk around barefoot for the rest of the night.
People are desperate.
Can you believe that?
What's wrong
and these were people that were all invited.
Yeah, this was like a VIP.
Yeah, it wasn't some, just everybody I met on the Hollywood Boulevard and told them to come on up.
Yeah.
So somebody walked out there with my freaking heels. I was so mad. I'm still mad at that now that you brought it up.
I'm mad at it because you told me that, and I think my jaw was on the floor. And then the rest of the night, I'm like staring at everybody, like who's holding their
shoes in their bag,
shoes like behind under their arm.
Oh, I was so pissed off about that, man. Thanks for reminding me, Bridget.
Sorry, I didn't mean to end it on a bad note. I just thought it was so funny. Oh, but you know what I will say? I had your book in my hand and somebody told me, oh, don't bother holding on to the book all night. We'll just send you one. So I put it back and I never got a book.
No. Are you serious?
Swear.
I would have brought you one today. Why didn't you tell me? I actually have them with me. Okay, I'm going to have to send you one.
Okay.
All right, I will.
I would love to have one.
I got it. I got to remind me. Please don't let me forget. Okay. And you too, if you want one, Holly.
Thank you.
Okay, I just have to know where to send them.
Okay.
All right. So can you guys let me know?
Yes, I'd love to. Yeah. Yeah. So I just remember holding it on like for dear life because people were like,
yeah, the books just were gone in 5 seconds. People were taking like 4 and 5 of them.
Oh, that's probably the problem because it was like a frenzy all of a sudden. Like they were all like so neatly on display and everything, like kind of like, you know, like a professional to put them out.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened, but suddenly you could just see everybody was like, it was like frenzy. And so I was like, oh,
I'm doing my Christmas shopping.
Yeah. So I grabbed one and I was like so lucky I had one. And then I forget who it was like, oh, don't worry about holding on to that all night.
Yeah, great.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah, don't worry about holding it on. I'll take it.
Right? That's
and then they split with the book and the shoes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so
totally.
funny.
That's totally what happened.
But yeah, well, I'm sorry that happened. But there were a lot of people complaining that night about I didn't get a book. You know, and
oh my gosh,
we brought the amount that the people that we invited. You know, thinking that everybody get one, but some greedy people out there, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. Well, that was all my questions. Holly, do you have anything else?
That was so much fun. I can't even think of anything. I've just had so much fun.
Oh, good. Well, Holly's just been sitting there like listening and nodding her head.
Fascinated. Well, like I said at the beginning, I'm so excited just to hear the story.
When I sent her the notes, I was like, because they're not really questions, they're more just like bullet points and stuff. I said, it's very me-centric because like I just have so much, like there's things that are similar and then my love for you and like all that kind of stuff. And Holly's like, that's fine. I'll jump in on the showgirl stuff.
Yeah. No, we had like kind of a connection there, Bridget and I.
Yeah.
I think even when we met the first time at Girls Next Door, there was kind of a connection because you were such a Halloween freak. And,
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So even though you have blonde hair,
I know.
I won't hold it against you.
We can't all be Elvira.
I know.
There's only one.
There's only one.
Thank you so much for joining us, you guys. I had so much fun. And if you guys would like more content, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/girlsnextlevel. Check out Cassandra's book. It is so good, you guys. And we didn't even cover all of what's in it. So it's amazing. It's one of my favorites. And we will see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.